Krugersdorp is a town on the west rand of Johannesburg. It sits close to the cradle of humankind, a place where the oldest fossils of our ancestors were found. It's a place of beginnings, history etched into ancient rock. But in the years leading up to 2016, a different kind of history was being written. It was written in blood. Not of creation. A darkness had taken root in this quiet, church-going community. A shadow crept through the suburbs, unseen by most. A poison seeped into the town's soul, turning neighbor against neighbor, and faith into a weapon of unimaginable evil. People went about their lives. They went to work. They raised their families. They felt safe at home. But they were not safe. A group operated in their midst, bound by a twisted ideology and a charismatic leader. They called themselves Electus Per Deus, the chosen by God. They believed they were on a divine mission, but their mission was not salvation. It was murder. At its heart is Cecilia Steyn. She was not towering, she was a mother, a wife, a neighbor, yet she held absolute power over followers. She convinced them she was a high-ranking Satanist, turned to the light, a warrior for God fighting a spiritual war only they could see. That war was fought with real weapons, guns, knives, fists. The victims were not demons, they were real people, financial advisors, real estate agents. The path to murder began with a split. The relationship between Cecilia Steyn and Ria Grunewald, the leader of the original ministry, soured. Cecilia felt Ria was not taking the satanic threat seriously enough. She accused Ria of being a weak leader. The group fractured, with the most loyal members, Zach Marinda and her children, siding with Cecilia. They left Know Your Savior and formed their own, more extreme version of Electus Per Deus. The first to die was Natasha Berger, and her neighbor, Joy Boonzayer. They were stabbed to death in 2012. Then came Pastor Reg Bendixson, who was also linked to the group. He was killed with an axe and a knife. The motive appeared to be revenge, a settling of scores. These early murders were not just about revenge, they were also about money. The group was running out of funds. By 2016, the group's internal discipline was, really breaking down. The appointment murders had been calculated and targeted, but the need for money became desperate and methods turned reckless. This marked the start of the spree killings. Random murders that sent terror through Krugersdorp. They began hunting strangers, searching for easy targets. First victim, Anthony Schofield, a financial broker. He was lured to a meeting and murdered. The murders of Anthony Schofield, Kevin McAlpine, Hanley Ladigan were, well, just too similar in their execution. The South African Police Service assigned a dedicated team to the case led by a determined detective, Captain Ben Boysen. Boysen was a seasoned investigator known for his relentless approach to solving cases. The breakthrough came from, honestly, an unlikely source. John Barnard, one of the group's younger members, was arrested. Facing the grim reality of a life behind bars, he decided to talk. He confessed everything. He laid out the entire conspiracy, appointment murders, recent spree killings. For years, the people of Krugersdorp lived with a growing sense of unease. The first murders were shocking. They seemed personal, linked to a church group. Then in 2016, everything changed. The spree killings pulled terror into everyday life. Ordinary people, professionals, became victims. Social media platforms buzzed with warnings. Neighborhood WhatsApp groups lit up. The trial of the Krugersdorp Killers began in 2018 and became one of the most sensational court cases in South African history. The prosecution's case was built on the extensive confessions of John Barnard and LaRue Steyn. Their testimony provided a step-by-step account of the 11 murders in August 2019. The verdicts were handed down. Zach Valentine was found guilty on multiple counts of murder and received 8 life sentences. And finally, Cecilia Steyn, the puppet master who never physically dirtied her hands with blood, but whose mind had orchestrated the entire reign of terror, was found guilty of all 32 charges against her. She was sentenced to 13 life sentences. The sentences brought a formal end to the case, but the scars on the community of Krugersdorp remain. The story serves as a terrifying reminder of the power of psychological manipulation and the dark places that misplaced faith can lead. It shattered the illusion of safety in a quiet suburban town. The families of the 11 victims were left to grapple with the senselessness of their loss. It forces us to look at our own communities, at our own neighbors, and ask a chilling question: how well do we truly know the people who live beside us?